is happening? Are you trying to make it somewhere without being seen? Do you have a guinea pig in that basket? They totally do. I thought they were moving Legos downstairs, and then they're carrying guinea pigs.
They're actually moving animals. That's
right. It's just typical day around here. I think it was difficult to ask for help for probably more reasons than I'm even aware of. But I don't know if it's maybe more common here, the mentality that you're the helper, so you shouldn't need help.
Midwest guilt.
Yeah, but at the same time, there's so much of it that I couldn't have been in control of. It's just life. You pick yourself up and you fix it and you work hard.
So just start with my name.
Yep, just start with your name.
Hi, I'm Judy Imdick.
My name is Faye Kuznia.
Well, my name is Dave Helmstetter.
Hi, I'm Vicki Henley.
And I'm Roger Imdick.
My name is Steve Bakke.
I'm Dave Henley.
Well, it's over 6 years ago. I'm not exactly sure anymore of the etiology, but I know it started with retired here in New London in 2002, and shortly after started hearing rumors of a faith-based community services organization that ended up being called The Link.
I've been involved with the Link for about 3 years.
I have served on the board now for the past 4 years.
And my husband Kurt and I have been involved in the Link, I guess, for about 3 years now.
I am the pastor of the Open Door Christian Church in New London for the little over 6 years that we have been in existence.
One of the things that I enjoy doing every year is working with the Link and their staff on the Rib Fest.
I am associated with Heritage Bank as a sponsor of this dinner, and I have been a volunteer for the last 4 years.
Okay. I'm Heather Westberg King, and I live in New London, and I mother 3 small people that are 11, 9, and 5. And I work at the Middle Fork Cafe, occasionally serving, and I do their marketing and social media. I work alongside Kristen Allen for the Art Place America River Space Grant. I do the New London and Spicer tourism website. I'm on the New London Arts Alliance and the Little Theater, the New London Little Theater board. I think that's it. It's taken me a long time to learn how to ask for help, especially for moms. There's some kind of, martyrdom that can come into play. If I'm asking for help, I'm not taking care of things. I'm not doing what I should be doing. Like maybe, there are things that I did that put me in this position. So now I made my bed. I've got to figure it out.
We are, like I said, the parents of 4, so we haven't always had tons of extra money, but I have a hard time asking people to help us or to help if we have ever been in need.
There's just a lot of folks, while they're embarrassed to ask for help, really need it.
I went back to college when we had 2 young daughters, and we had left the farm during the farm crisis in the mid-'80s. Wasn't too proud to go to surplus commodities, cheese, dried milk, honey.
And I realized that it's real easy to go through life riding the wave of things that are going good. But when things suddenly don't go good, when suddenly things aren't going very well, and we need help, there's not always help to be had.
But there's been a couple of times maybe, or was it just once? Do you remember that? The camera guys at the Wilmer house? No. You don't?
What was
I remember.
What was that about?
Well, it was, I was writing online. I don't know if I told you I'm in recovery. So when I first got sober, I wrote about it very publicly. They just told the story about my blog and how it's helping women who were struggling with alcoholism. But they were pretty small. I mean, like there's this cute moment in that. I can't remember, you said something about bees, and you were like right at the camera, like explaining how terrible something was about bees, and it was so cute. I've just always had this short little mantra of just right. That's it. Just right. Like, I don't have to overthink like I normally do. I started writing almost entirely about motherhood. It was my way of working through what I think and what I feel about that kind of intense connection, love, and responsibility, and the parts of it that terrified me. So that ended up giving some kind of gift to other mothers because I was saying something that they hadn't found a way to say. And I think that's how the readership grew. And then I just started writing about everything because I realized I could. My blog was called The Extraordinary Ordinary for that reason, is that there's all these little mundane things that I cannot help by my nature but to see very brightly and vividly. I don't miss a lot, like moving a laundry basket from one room to the other and the way it hit the side of my leg, speaks to somebody. I'm doing all of these daily grind things that are not always beautiful but really are. My writing reminded me how beautiful every little detail is, even inside the painful stuff. I had been a single mom for, I don't know, maybe about a year. I was starting a new life. That transition time was really difficult. I wanted to remain available to my kids as they were going through a divorce and learning how to live in two homes and have both of their parents, but not at the same time.
I can relate back to when we were newlyweds. We had our home burned down and lost everything in our home. And the next morning woke up and didn't have clothes to put on. And the community, a farming community where we lived, people that I didn't know came forward and just really supported us with all what we needed to get back on our feet again.
It didn't take me long to switch gears with asking for help from the link because I had people surrounding me who reminded me that we all need help.
Those kind of things helped us through a period in our life, and the link can do that for others in our community today.
Especially through the churches, but also through civic organizations and just plain local neighborliness.
The local church can't always do everything that needs to get done in the community. They don't ask people to change what they're doing. They ask people how they can help.
They match their desire to help with people who can use it.
To me, that's the best of generosity, is being able to connect a need to someone who can address and meet that need.
It also takes a need that's immediate and will help people get through some of those troubling times. We experience that, so it's something that is close to my heart and why I like to be involved.
When you ask for the link, it's amazing how many people come forward. Not only do they agree wholeheartedly. So we are very, very fortunate with the people that have assisted us in carrying out some of that volunteer stuff.
That's me. I know that's me every week. It's doing this. I don't want people to listen to me talk. I'm doing it because I believe in the link and what they're doing.
We were asked to go to the holiday dinner, much like tonight, by Linda Calvington, and it was there that we first learned about the link, what it does, what it sets out to do. And I guess at that point we were very pleased with what we heard that night.
We were invited, my wife and I were invited to a Link dinner, and heard some of the people talk about what the Link was about, what their intention was in the community. And it's always great to hear an organization's intentions. It's something different to actually hear and see the results. And they showed a video, and it was of a local guy who life just kind of steamrolled him over. What struck me was he was so much like me in so many ways. He's just one of us. And the video was about how the Link was able to step in and help wade through insurance forms and open some doors that he couldn't have gotten opened on his own, and wade through some red tape that he couldn't have waded through. And it was very emotional. It was very, very touching. And when it got done, and pretty much everybody is drying their eyes sitting around the table after this video, because I think it hit all of us the same way, that here's a ministry that we're here to support and be a part of that's helping us. This guy didn't do anything wrong. It just happened. And the Link was there to stand in the gap for he and his wife in a very real way. That moment made me a supporter of the Link. And it wasn't just, here's a guy from the community, here's literally the guy sitting right next to me. And to hear his story and to see the tears in his eyes and his wife's eyes and realize, you know, this place made a huge difference. And here he is, and so I get to spend the rest of the night just kind of asking him, tell me about the situation, tell me about the journey that you've been on with the Link. And he didn't have enough time to tell me all the good things that he wanted to tell me about what the folks at the Link had done. And I knew that Link was a winner. That's the kind of thing you want to get behind and help however you can. It's still emotional today, and it's been years, but it's right here. It's people that you see and they meet and you know, and life dealt them a rough hand for a time, and there's not always anything there to help you out. And the Link does.
When the Link helped me, I had been renting a place with the kids that it had like 2 furnaces. It was like my heating bill was really high, and you know, and when you're renting, you need a deposit, which is usually the first month's rent, and there was no way I had that double lump sum. The holidays were coming, and I drove this van that was having problems all the time, and one time when I took the van in, the guy was like, you really can't drive with these tires anymore. I'm like, well, I can because I have to. It was a time of so desperately trying to work so many hours to be able to get something like tires. And so there were several things that just piled up. And when I sat down with Chastity, I was so stressed out with the financial burden. And after they initially helped with the bills for that month, it made it so that I could get back on track. I wasn't going to need that month after month after month. And so it was just a relief. She said, you know, please come back soon because I want to help you with some gifts for your kids for Christmas. And I started crying because I hadn't even been able to start thinking about being able to get anything extra. I don't love my kids to get everything they ask for. They get a lot. They're spoiled. They have grandparents. But I still wanted to be able to say, here's your thing from Mom, you know. And I was only able to do that because Chastity offered when we first met, and I didn't even know that was possible. I think, you know, in the times where I've been humbled by my own need for help because of the really hard things in life, that also gives you the ability to have a lot of grace for other people and not make assumptions about how they got in a situation or judgments that would make you hold back from giving. I get weepy about the Link. I think even if I hadn't had my particular experience, but just if I had just come to know what they do and been close to it somehow, you can very quickly get the sense that they have this attitude of grace with no strings attached. It was just, you're struggling, we want to help you. That's it, you know? And that, I mean, clearly something to be grateful for, that their hearts are just, the work they're doing isn't attached to anything other than really sincerely wanting to take care of people. Yeah.
I think a lot of people have helped to make me what I am today, and I think it's my duty, responsibility, to give back. And I think if everyone did that, we would all be a lot happier, healthier, successful in all ways of life.
And so for me, what drives me as a pastor, what drives me as a father, what drives me as a part of the community is to give back to the place that raised me. I look back at all the coaches, all the teachers, all the people that had businesses when I was a kid. Some of those folks are getting on in years. A lot of them have passed on now and aren't with us anymore.
That spirit has been part of me for a long time. Keeps being rewarded. And donations, I mean, giving of dollars is just a part of the stewardship I've learned over the years. Stewardship of life, stewardship of talents.
But I think this is my time. I'm at the age where I get to give back. I get to take whatever God has given me, whatever skills or gifts or abilities I might have, and I get to give it back and hopefully make this area a little bit better for the people that come after me.
And this area is our home, so we want to improve where we live. And if we can give back, that's great. So we give back as much as we possibly can, either through donations or, more importantly, probably volunteering.
I would just encourage people to give in any way that they can. If they cannot do so monetarily, contact the people at the link and give back through service, or just by even spreading the message and letting people know that these services are out there. That's serving also.
And I wished many times I would have given more, but I think there's a lot to the scriptural message of as you give, you receive.
We need to give. We need to pay it forward. If we've been given things, we need to just keep on giving back. And I think the link is a perfect place to do that.
When I started writing, it was at a season of life that was so incredibly exhausting that it can't really be described. And my second son had this medical thing come up when he was 1. And so what I had been kind of striving for in my own, just journey of life at that point was to focus on the tiny things that make me grateful. It's how I survived a series of painful things that had happened over that period of time and still to this day, that I really believe that pulling myself out of that ruminating mind and worries and fears by thinking about everything that I am grateful for.
Very good.
And all these mean things.
It's like too cliche for me to make like a gratitude list of like beautiful things. It doesn't help me that much. But if I am looking at Asher's eyelashes, I'm there. It's gratitude.
Absolutely, it's about gratitude. You don't get to say thank you to all of those people enough, and so I guess in a strange way in my mind, being a part of the Open Door and being a pastor in New London, when I could be a pastor in a lot of other places, it's my way of saying thank you.
I probably have said a lot of different things to my kids about what it means to be a helper and have them understand that it isn't my job to figure out if someone is deserving of help. I'd rather err on the side of grace. I mean, why not?
That's why we give. That's why we do what we do in anything that we do in life. That's why when we're busting our butts and still need to make time for church, you go because your kids see that, or you do that last thing because your kids see it. You want the next generation to say, hey, we didn't have a whole lot, or we had what we needed, but we were still able to make more for others, we had something left to give.
I do. I try to live it out in my own life, but just in teaching my kids. And maybe that's giving back in its own way, because then you have these little humans that don't think the world revolves around them completely. And to see them start to live that out, you know, to see them start to notice other people's needs and want to help, it's my favorite.
That night that I watched the video of the gentleman from New London, and I realized he's every one of us. And what really got me, I think what emotionally just really grabbed a hold of me was, that could have been me. It could have been my wife, it could have been my mom or my dad, or it could have been my closest friends. The Link is able to stand in the gap where churches can't be, and to do even more. And to me, that takes a community, a number of communities full of people who have hearts of generosity, who really do want to help and don't always know how or don't always know where to plug in their time or effort or resources. And the Link is able to pull all that together and just do phenomenal good for the people of the area. And you can't not be excited about that.